Gold. It's a pretty loaded word, right? Through the ages, people have been fascinated by it. It's essentially created a ton of war where people have fought over gold. It's created gold rushes. Think San Francisco. There's fool's gold, right? Think, the movie. And of course, there is India where people are simply obsessed with it. If I'm honest, when I think about gold, I think about Ferrero Rocher. Because that gold casing, that's my association with gold. But for most Indians, it's jewelry, it's biscuits, it's bars. It's also, the eternal subject of all of those Sona, Mona, and Albert jokes, right? Because all they smuggled was gold, right? There was nothing else. But why am I talking about gold? I'm talking about gold because it's one of the most invested in assets in India. In your family, someone owns gold, either in the form of jewelry or a bar or a coin. And you probably thought about it as well. And so let's talk about what it means to invest in gold. And should you? Hey folks, I'm Subho and you're watching The Big Buck Show. It's a show where we tell you how you can start your investment journey and more importantly, how you can turn your small bucks into big bucks. Here's an interesting fact. While we are somewhere around the 125th rank mark in terms of per capita income and GDP, we're actually in the top 10 countries in terms of per capita gold purchases. And that's because gold has a cultural significance. We give people jewelry, it's then weddings, it's part of festivals. Everything we do seems to have gold integrated into it. And therefore, there's also an accepted thought, which is, hey, gold's a good investment, right? Because we all, again, going back to Bollywood, right? When all else fails, you have your jewelry and you sell that and somehow that, tides you over. But actually, that's a myth. Investment in physical gold is not a great idea. Now, note, I'm not saying that investment in gold is not a great idea, but investment in physical gold is not a great idea. It's fantastic for jewelry. It's fantastic, for the Mangal Sutra in gold, for you to gift gold to your wife or girlfriend, or generally, have ornamental gold around. All for it, jewelers are amazing. But if you're investing in it, there are a number of issues with physical gold. Firstly, and not to be facetious, you can't lift the damn thing. Have you tried to lift 2 bars of gold? It's heavy. If you can lift it, where do you keep it? You need a vault or a safety deposit box. And at least I don't know about you, but I don't have a vault at home and I don't have a safety deposit box either in today's day and age. 3, you don't know about purity. You think it's 22 karat, it's 18. You think it's 24, it's 22, it's got impurities. Quality, you can't even be sure of the quality of turmeric. How do you know about the quality of gold? Next, it's really difficult to resell and the cost of acquisition means that you're not getting a great return. When you invest in gold in the form of jewelry, making charges are anywhere between 10 to 35%. So you're losing that value, and when you look to sell it back, you don't get market price for physical gold. There's always a deduction depending on who you're selling it to. And finally, it's not that marketable. If you happen, you have to physically go somewhere, they're going to inspect it. Like just selling physical gold is a pain. Like selling anything physical is a pain, right? This is why Flipkart and Amazon showed up and we get delivery. I don't think you have gold delivery yet. So there are all these problems with physical gold. Remember, I'm not saying gold is an investment, doesn't have a place in your portfolio. So let's go to what I am saying, which is physical gold for me is a no. Right, for a number of different reasons I just outlined. But digital gold, and you're wondering what the hell is digital gold? Digital gold, I think, has a place in your portfolio. So there are 2 forms of digital gold. You can go to a bank and they have a gold scheme and they'll give you a certificate. Well, it's kind of digital in that they'll give you a paper certificate, but your gold is stored somewhere else and you're the owner of that gold. But again, a couple of issues. Going to a bank, walking in, where will the certificate be? All the issues I don't like. So the way I would think about digital gold is you can essentially buy a gold exchange traded fund, which is an investment in a company that essentially mines gold, that is backed by gold, that gives you similar returns, that moves in tandem to prices, and has several advantages. You don't have to physically store it. It's much more liquid. And it actually gives you the ability to trade it in a way that meets your needs and goals. Now let's again step back. Should you buy digital gold? I think there are some good reasons to buy it and some risks you should be aware. Gold is cyclical, it's a commodity, which means prices will go up and go down in a cycle no one is ever quite sure about. If you ask anyone to predict the price of gold 2 years from now, and if they tell you they can, they're lying. I can't. It could go up, it could go down. What I can tell you is it's a cycle. If it goes up, it'll come down. If it's down, it'll go up. And so timing that is difficult. But, there's a cycle. The other thing is it's typically a pretty good hedge against inflation because prices tend to rise with inflation. So if you want to say, hey, look, I want to make sure that the value of the asset doesn't, go down and is inflation proof, gold is a good asset. Also, it tends to do better when markets fail. So it's a good offset. So we talked about risk earlier in several episodes. If you're worried about risk, if your other investments are tanking, you want something that won't tank. And gold typically tends to do better when stocks are going down. It's people tend to then buy gold as a refuge or a safe haven. So then it's a good counter cyclical bet. So there are reasons. Now, should you just invest in gold? I don't think so. But there are a number of reasons why you should. However, please, if you want to gift your girlfriend a fancy piece of gold jewelry, you should. But don't do it because you want to invest in gold. And when your parents tell you this, tell them, don't. Gold is jewelry and gold is investment are two different things. They both have their place. If you want to invest in gold, go the digital route. And please look at the show notes and the illustrations and take a look at how you can do this. And of course, if you have questions, please write to me and I'll explain to you. As I said, I'm always happy to provide one-on-one advice. Because in today's day and age, where you can buy anything from, a car to a stuffed toy to eggs online, why should gold be any different? One final thought on that, which is there's also this thing about minimum ticket size. Typically, when you're buying gold, your minimum ticket size, is large because it's linked to weight, right? And if you say, hey, I want 1 microgram of gold, which is like 1 speck of dust, you're not going to get that. You're going to buy a gram, you're going to buy 10 grams, and that, that adds up. And of course, you want to buy a kilo, then that's super heavy, right? What happens with digital gold is, especially if you invest in markets outside India, you can buy gold for as little as 10 rupees because you're investing in a fractional share of the underlying gold ETF or the gold linked fund, which means that you no longer have to put in a large chunk of your money into gold, but you can put in whatever you want to. And so that's pretty important because you might not want to invest large amounts. You might want to invest small amounts over time, which means that digital gold again has an advantage over physical gold, so you can do this. If you have thoughts about gold, then I'd love to hear them. As always, we can follow up to address your questions and comments. Hey folks, thanks for watching The Big Bucks Show. And tell us how you thought about this episode in the comments below. Subscribe to our channel, please, and hit the notification bell so you get a notification next time a video shows up. Also, don't forget to follow us on social media. We have a Twitter channel, a YouTube channel, and of course, also an audio podcast. And hey, continue watching us so that you can turn your small bucks into big bucks.